right now on 5 on Your Side at 10.
A weather first storm alert for Thursday. Most of us see thunderstorms. Some of us will have to contend with severe weather. When, where, and what you need to be most concerned about with these storms.
It gives police a bird's eye view. Some say it puts the public's privacy up in the air. The new purchase drawing controversy. A chief concern.
Since it looks like candy and looks like snacks, it doesn't look like it's that harmful.
Tonight, the call to ban illegal drug getting into the wrong hands.
We start tonight with that weather first storm alert. It's calm and breezy right now across the bi-state. Tomorrow, you'll want to stay aware as many of us are under an enhanced risk for severe storms. Good evening. I'm Mike Bush. Kelly Jackson has the night off. Damaging winds could be our biggest threat. Let's get straight over to Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell, who's tracking the development and the timing of the storm. Scott?
Mike, we don't have thunderstorms anywhere close to St. Louis right now. In fact, the humidity levels dropped so far off today that not even a concern. But you look into tomorrow and you notice, yes, we are in that level 3 out of 5 risk area for severe weather, with the focus being right over St. Louis and then down to the south and southeast. That's where we think the moisture is going to be coming back, will be very unstable. And so the chances for thunderstorms ramp up as we head into the afternoon, especially mid to late afternoon for St. Louis. We really have that storm alert for our northwestern counties running about 11 o'clock. Here's why. 11 o'clock, you have the thunderstorms just off to our west and northwest. So they'll try to trudge towards Bowling Green, towards Truxton, Hawk Point, back towards Jonesburg and heading down towards Herman. That batch tries to push towards St. Charles. At the same time, additional strong thunderstorms develop farther to the west. There'll be some line that evolves here as we head through the late afternoon into the early evening. And it's along that line, especially the leading edge, where we anticipate seeing some pretty intense winds. 60 to 70 mile per hour wind gusts are not going to be uncommon, we don't think, tomorrow. So the greatest storm threat for the metro area, really that 2 to 6 p.m. time frame, and more likely right during the rush hour. The greatest threat's going to be from those winds. Now, not to say there won't be a bit of hail or maybe an isolated tornado, but you get winds that 60 to 70 mile per hour gusts over a wider area, and then you have the potential for power outages. So that's one of our big concerns for tomorrow as we head into the afternoon hours. We'll track it on a broader perspective coming up in just a few minutes, Mike.
And the Weather First team will be here throughout the day tomorrow. Stay alert on air online at KSTK.com, the 5 on Your Side app, and of course, we'll be streaming on 5+. You can also text the word weather to 314-425-5355 and we'll send a link to your phone. We're following breaking news out of North St. Louis. Right now, police are on the scene of a serious crash near the intersection of Union and Berkshire. This is at the overpass Interstate 70. Police confirm a child and an adult were taken to the hospital. We don't know yet the extent of their injuries or what led to this crash. We'll bring you any new details when we learn them both on air and on the 5 on Your Side app. We've learned a 24-year-old woman from St. Louis died in a car crash while she was away at college in Indiana. Tonight, the family of Sinetta Morgan is honoring her life as police try to figure out what led to the crash. 5 on Your Side's Brent Solomon just caught up with her family. Brent.
Hey there, Mike. A bright light. Those are the words multiple people use to describe the Indiana State University student. Tonight, her family devastated by the tragedy they never saw coming.
This was so unexpected, so unexpected.
Her mother got the word Tuesday.
She was just devastated when the police showed up to her at the door.
24-year-old Sinetta Morgan killed in a car crash in Terre Haute, Indiana, where she attended college. Police say her car collided with another car before veering off of the roadway, striking a large pole. Zinni, as her loved ones called her, grew up here in North City. She graduated from Lift for Life and St. Louis Community College. We are devastated by Zinetta's sudden death. Indiana State University extends our thoughts and condolences to her family, friends, and everyone fortunate enough to know her. We send our thoughts and condolences to Zinetta's family during this difficult time, the president of the university said.
She was an only child, but you never would have known she was an only child because she had a big heart of gold.
She recently became part of Delta Sigma Theta sorority. Her family says she wanted to go into the mortuary business and loved attending church. In fact, she took her faith with her in a study abroad trip to Ghana.
When she came back, she shared the fact that people who had never even heard of God, who would normally not have been worshiping God, she introduced them.
Now, loved ones are trying to keep Zenny's mom strong. She's become all too familiar with grief.
She has lost her father. 3 years later, she lost her sister. Approximately 4 years later after that, she lost her mom. And a few years after that, she lost her husband.
And now her beloved daughter, who this family vows to never forget.
One of the happiest people in the family.
The other driver in that crash survived. Again, police are still investigating. Zenyatta was set to graduate from ISU later this year. She would have turned 25 next month.
Tomorrow, the man convicted in a horrific car crash in downtown St. Louis that caused a Tennessee teen to lose her legs will learn his sentence. A jury found Daniel Riley guilty last month for last year's crash that severely injured Janae Edmondson. The same jury recommended he serve nearly 19 years in prison. Riley's lawyers are requesting a new trial. Just hours ago, we learned a teen missing from St. Charles County has been found safe. During our early evening newscast, we told you how the 16-year-old was last seen leaving his school in Wentzville yesterday afternoon. His car was later found at a gas station on North 13th Street near downtown St. Louis. About an hour after our last report, police announced the teen was found in good health and returned to his family. The Webster Groves Police Department now has some new tools to get a bird's eye view. The department now has drones with special capabilities. New tonight, 5 on Your Side's Laura Barczewski spent the evening with leaders of the new program to learn how they will be used.
The Webster Groves Police Department now has 2 drones. One is just like this Mavic here, which they use for training to take to the skies. This is the other drone. It's a Matrice and has the ability to switch from 4K to thermal imaging in seconds.
And I can look at a building, I can tell you the hot spot of a building, but I can't see through the walls. Some of the things we see in the Bourne Legacy movies, if you will. We don't have that capacity. So the drone simply is able to detect radiant heat versus background heat.
Webster Groves Lieutenant Eric Weimer says there are several ways they'll be able to use these drones, including to help them find missing people or aid in the search for a suspect.
Recently we had an incident with a stolen car and someone who ran from the vehicle. We were able to use a drone from another department to help us with looking for that suspect.
Captain Stephen Spear wants to reassure residents that a lot of the rules on the ground apply to the air as well.
If someone's doing something in their backyard they're not supposed to be doing and they have a fence around the yard, I can't necessarily put a drone up above their yard and say, oh look, I now know what they're doing. I still have to go through all of the obligations for getting a search warrant.
Eventually, 4 people on the department will all have a Part 107 drone license. Spear says the footage they capture is protected by the Missouri Sunshine Law and can be requested by residents.
Our lieutenant, who's going to be in charge of the unit, will be responsible for conducting random checks of all that footage to make sure that we haven't violated it. And if there is, well then, not only do we have federal laws that give our mandates, but we also have our internal rules and regulations that will hold officers accountable.
Reporting in Webster Groves, Laura Barczewski, 5 on Your Side.
The drone program will eventually expand to other city departments like Fire and Rescue and Public Works. Well, want to give you an update now on breaking news that we're following out of North St. Louis. Just minutes ago, we learned a juvenile was killed in that crash near the intersection of Union and Berkshire. An adult was taken to the hospital. The crash remains under investigation, and again, we'll bring you any new details when we learn them both on air and on the 5 on Your Side app. Charges have been filed in the shooting death of a Belleville woman. Today, prosecutors charged DeMario Bush with murder. He's a convicted felon who was out on parole at the time of Sunday night's shooting on Ben Lewis Drive. Investigators say the shooting stemmed from a domestic dispute. A federal grand jury has indicted a Fairview Heights man for a sexual assault reported on the Arch grounds. Montel Darrell Boltman is charged with 1 count of sexual abuse. He's accused in an attack that happened at the National Park back on December 6th. If convicted, he could face up to life in prison and a $250,000 fine. Tonight, a group of Missouri police chiefs are calling for the ban of Delta 8. The psychoactive hemp product is legal and unregulated, but it's putting kids in the hospital. 5 on Your Side's Mercedes McKay explains law enforcement's growing concern.
It's a real problem.
Right now in Missouri, kids and teenagers are walking into gas stations and picking up this.
Since it looks like candy and looks like snacks, doesn't look like it's that harmful.
But it is. What's inside aren't your normal ingredients. It's Delta 8, an intoxicating substance that's extracted from hemp and mixed with chemicals to create a high.
We have a drug problem as it is. One more intoxicating substance that's readily available, that's easily attained by our youth. We just don't need it.
That's why Lake St. Louis Police Chief Chris DiGiuseppe, along with chiefs across the state, are spending their days in Jefferson City, testifying on behalf of Senate Bill 984 and House Bill 1781, which would regulate Delta 8 and get it out of kids' reach.
There's a false narrative out there that some of the proponents of the product have been putting out about how it's going to help law enforcement if we really don't have to regulate this stuff, if we don't have to enforce it, and that's just not true.
DiGiuseppe is part of the Law Enforcement Legislative Coalition. It's a new organization that unites Missouri police chiefs, representing them on legislative matters that affect public safety. And according to DiGiuseppe, Delta 8 is already causing harm. Just earlier this month, 10 students at Sumner High School in St. Louis got high after purchasing the hemp product at a gas station. 4 of them were taken to a hospital.
It is a public safety threat, and we need to get it cleared up. We need to get it banned.
It's not just police departments here in Missouri that are trying to put an end to this. Illinois lawmakers are pushing it as well. This is a bill that's moving through the Illinois legislature right now that would ban Delta 8.
When I talk to my colleagues in DEA, they tell me that this is one of the most prominent topics that's brought up to them when they do public education.
That's why the chief took to Facebook, educating his community on this ongoing problem while pleading to parents for help.
We really need the public to support law enforcement, to step up and call our lawmakers and urge them to ban this stuff.
Mercedes McKay, 5 on your side.
Both the House and Senate bill were voted out of committee, so the bills will now be sent to the floor for debate.
New hope tonight for local victims of radiation exposure. The latest push in Washington to pay them for their suffering. Taking your pet to the vet can take a big bite out of your budget.
Overall, there was no real top dog.
Tonight, we're letting the cat out of the bag on pet insurance policies and other ways to save.
Our next weather system already showing signs of life across parts of the plains tonight. Thursday's severe weather threat has us in a weather first storm alert tonight. We're tracking how the storms will move through St. Louis in 7 minutes.